The vast ocean calls to you. You and your fellow sailors must go out to create new maps to chart the uncharted wilds of the ocean. Do you and your fellow players have what it takes to go out, explore, and discover these new lands? Newlands is a 2 to 6 player tile laying game. In it, you will be upgrading your ship, sailing around the ocean, finding new land, collecting resources, and most importantly, discovering islands and claiming them with your settlements. To set up the game, place the ocean tiles, 8 gold border tiles, compass tokens, wind tokens, and resources in their respective piles. Set out a number of starting tiles equal to the number of players, with the edge of the world tiles on both sides. Each player will start with their ship map, their ship, and 5 settlements of their color, and ship upgrades. Every player will also start with 1 random resource in their hold. To create the first starting hands, give each player 2 tiles. They will look at them and then give 1 to the player on their left and 1 to the player on their right. All players may do this simultaneously. The 2 new tiles you received will be your starting hand. On your turn. On your turn, you will move your ship. The number of tiles it can move is the number of cells your ship has. This begins at 2, but can increase to 4 and even 7 with upgrades. Your ship can only go through water, not over land. This ship would need to travel around this island to get to the other side, as ships can't travel over land. Also, when leaving a tile with a sea monster, it costs an extra movement. This includes your starting hex. You may move off into uncharted territory. If you do so, your movement immediately ends. You then discover a new section of the unknown, and you will place a tile under your ship to add to the board. In fact, the majority of your turns will be moving into uncharted territory, as this is how you find land, collect resources, and discover islands to claim. The rules for placing a new tile are simple. Land sides can only touch land sides, and water sides can only touch water sides. The color of the land touching doesn't matter. This placement would be illegal, because while these land sides are okay, this water side is touching land. This rule applies to the starting tiles and edge of the world tiles as well, but you can place any side touching empty space. The tile you lay down this way may be one of the tiles from your hand. One of the gold border tiles. These have 2 gold on the back to remind you that you must pay 2 gold to place one of these as your tile. And one of the tiles stored in your navigation or anchor spots. Whenever you discover a tile, you collect 1 resource from one of its lands. You collect gold from yellow, iron from red, and wood from green. If your tile has multiple colors on it, you can only choose 1. Gray, fog, does not produce. So in this case, the player could only choose 1 wood from the green land they discovered. If the only land is gray, fog, they don't get any resources. Resources go into your ship's hold. At the beginning, it can only hold 3 goods, but may be upgraded to hold more later on. If you ever discover a tile that forms and finishes an island, then you may immediately place one of your settlements on it for free. If you create more than 1 island at the same time, you can only choose 1 to place a free settlement on. To place a settlement on an island, the island must consist of only 1 color, or 1 color in gray, fog, which acts as a wild. If the island has 2 or more colors of green, yellow, or red, you can't put a settlement on it. So this island will be the only one purple can put a settlement on. As mentioned, gray, fog, land pieces act as a wild and can therefore be used to create any color island. Once you are done moving and perhaps putting down a settlement, you may then use a compass token to move exactly 1 more space. This can cause you to place another tile and maybe even create a new island. One way to get a compass is to purchase it for 2 gold. The other way you can get a compass is if you discover a tile with a compass symbol on it. If you do, take a compass token from the supply and put it in front of you. Wind tokens are gained in the same way. If you discover a tile with a wind symbol on it, then take that many wind tokens, 1 or 2, and put it in front of you. Wind tokens are used during your normal movement to go up to an additional 2 spaces. Discard the wind token to use it. You may use multiple wind tokens and multiple compasses on a turn. Once you are completely done moving your ship for that turn, and if there are any islands near your ship that you don't have a settlement on yet, you may pay 5 resources of any types to then build one of your settlements on that island. At the very end of your turn, discard any tiles still left in your hand. At any time, you may buy an upgrade for your ship by paying the resources from your hold. You may even do this during other players' turns. The other thing that you can do, and must do, in between your turns, is draw 2 new tiles, look at them, and give one to the player on your right and one to the player on your left. As you can guess, this will form part of their new hand for their next turn. Once one player has placed their 5th and final settlement out on an island, each other player will get one last turn, and then the game immediately ends. Scoring. Each island is worth a certain number of points based on its size. 2 tile big islands score 2 points, such as all of these. 3 tile big islands score 4 points, such as these. 4 tile big islands score 7 points, such as this. And islands that are made up of 5 or more tiles, like this one, score 11 points. Each island will also get bonus points if there are no foggy sections in it. The bonus points increase the bigger the island is. This island, for instance, will get 1 bonus point, but neither of these will. Finally, each village on an island will give 1 bonus point. If you have a settlement on an island, you score the points for that island. So in this case, blue would get 12 points, purple would get 14 points, and green would win with 23 points. Ship upgrades. 2 gold can be spent to get a compass token. In addition, when you discover a tile, you may pay 2 gold to choose from any of the available gold border tiles to discover that tile. 2 wood can be spent to get more sails. These must be built in order. First the 2-sail piece, then the 3-sail piece. Remember, your maximum movement is the number of sails your ship has. 2 iron can be spent to buy a cannon. They must be built in order. The first cannon allows your ship to move through sea monster spaces for 1 movement instead of the normal 2. The second cannon helps you defend native villages, and they reward you. When you end your turn on a tile with a village, take 1 resource of that land type, putting it into your hold. 1 of any resource can be spent to upgrade your hold, to hold an additional resource. The most your ship can hold is 5. Finally, you can spend 1 of each resource type to build an anchor navigation space. These must be built in order. The first allows you to save a tile from your hand at the end of your turn instead of discarding it. Later, you may use this tile as a tile you discover when sailing off the board. The second space grants even more power. Now you can store up to 2 tiles in your ship. Not only that, but you also have the option to trade either of those tiles with tiles from your hand at any point during your turn. Because of this essentially doubles your hand from 2 tiles to 4 tiles. And that is how you play Newlands. Check in the description for a PDF of the rulebook and other pertinent information to this game.